of the road.
metal.
Right. Mr. President, with the rail funding in California, will your recent dust-ups with Governor Newsom impact additional wildfire relief out there? They've requested $40 billion.
Sure, maybe. The man's incompetent. He shouldn't have fires like that. You clean the floor of your forest and you won't have any forest fires. You know, Austria has very, very flammable trees. They don't have forest fires because they clean the floors. They maintain their forests. Good, in fact. You know, hatred is never a good thing in politics. When you don't like somebody, don't respect somebody, it's harder for that person to get money if you're on top. But he's done a bad job.
How will you ensure that...
I'll tell you one thing, if I didn't bring in the military to Los Angeles, you wouldn't even have a seat. You probably wouldn't be here. You'd be covering the riots in Los Angeles right now. And we got a great ruling, as you know, yesterday from the judge. The absolute right. If we didn't bring in the military in Los Angeles, you would have maybe no city. You'd have just what you have with the housing, burned to the ground.
How will you ensure that
what they're
changes?
doing is they take this out.
With the ruling yesterday,
it seems like you agree with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
Yeah, well, with the ruling yesterday, does that mean you're more empowered to send National Guard to other cities as well, maybe New York?
I don't think more empowered. I always thought I was empowered. It would be a shocking ruling. Only a guy like Newsom would even ask for it. You know, he should be thanking me instead of fighting. Newsom wouldn't have a city. Right now it would be burning to the ground. You'd have people running all over, throwing rocks. Did you see them breaking up the concrete? Because we caught the bricks. They were bringing bricks, heavy bricks, red bricks, by the bag, 5 or 6 big bags. The guys strong guys that could hardly even carry them. They're going to hand them out to people to throw at the police. And by the way, the chief of police in Los Angeles said that we needed the help. If we didn't have the help, we would have been in trouble. Now he changed his mind 4 days later because he put a little bit, but and he actually needed it more then. But we did a great job. We quelled that thing. And the fact that we are even there thinking about going in, they won't bother with it anymore. They'll go someplace else. But we'll be there too. We'll be wherever they go, we're going to be.
Did you see the May numbers for immigration?
Yeah, great numbers.
0.
Yeah, we had 0. Did you see that, everybody?
You were going to have
0.
I was going to ask that.
She's on our side there. Because most people don't want to ask her.
Well, she said, she told earlier, Brian, did you see the May numbers? It's 0.
0, yeah.
How is that even?
Because we really have a tight border. Now, we have let a lot of people in, but they came in legally. They actually have to take a little test, and they have to say, I love America, you know, minor things like that.
Minor things like that.
Mr. President, can we talk about extending the talk again?
Yeah, we'll be extending it. We're going to extend it. We're going to probably make a deal. I think we'll need China's blessing on it, and I think they'll bless it.
How was Prime Minister Carney towards you?
Very good.
Yeah.
It couldn't have been nicer. We enjoyed the Canada stay a lot, and I had to come back obviously for what's happening in the Middle East, but I got everything done. He's a good man. I think Carney's a good man. Very well, a good representative of Canada.
You think he's liked by the people?
I think so, yeah.
Mr. President, have you given the Iranians an ultimatum?
You could say so. They know what's happening. Maybe you could call it the ultimate ultimatum, right?
What essentially was that, though?
Oh, I don't want to say it. Look, I mean, give me a break.
What about the Paramount deal?
I would say the elder. She's doing great. She's doing great. She's really enjoying it. Barron's enjoying it. All my kids are enjoying it, actually. It's pretty hot out here, isn't it?
Yeah, this is muggy. What's muggier, the DC or West Palm Beach in the summer?
I think this is muggier. This is a muggy. This is that. I mean,
Mr. President,
could I ask you about the Paramount deal and the merger with Skydance and the other teams? Like, what's holding that up, and like, do you see that being resolved?
I hope so. It's a good. Ellison's great. He'll do a great job with it. But so what they did is they interviewed 60 Minutes. They interviewed Kamala. Her answer was horrendous. I would say election threatening. This is the day before the election. Her answer was election threatening or so incompetent. So they took the entire answer out, and they took another answer to another question and put it in. And they did that, I understand, a number of times, but you don't have to do it a number of times. The main question they asked, and we caught them. And they're very embarrassed by it, and they're working on a settlement now. But think of it, did you ever hear that one before? They took the entire, every word, threw it out, put another answer. Do you think
I
they
happens
do
on the
that for
daily.
me?
I think it happens daily.
Well, I've never seen it. I thought I've seen everything. That I've never seen. And it's very embarrassing. The head of 60 Minutes got fired. The head of CBS got fired. They're all getting fired.
But do you think the deal
See what
will
they're
not
doing
come?
here?
What are they doing right now?
This is only if you're in construction. This is exciting. See, they have to get it perfectly straight. And once it's perfect, then they pour in the sand, and it's there for 100 years.
Mr. President, as the Senate works on the big, beautiful bill, it seems like SALT is going to be a really big issue between Senate Republicans and House Republicans. So what are you telling senators? Because the New York Republicans on the House side are making clear that that's a red line for them.
Well, if it were a red line, then get ready for a 68% tax increase in 1929, because we're taking care of that issue too. You know what that is? That's debt ceiling. The debt ceiling, we have to move the debt. And if we don't move the debt, it's you violate covenants. It's a terrible thing. Actually, Pocahontas even agreed with me on that. She's been wanting to get rid of the debt ceiling because she said it's too violent. It is violent. So, I mean, anybody that votes against it, they voted to give a 68% tax increase, and many other bad. There would be no money for the border. We have billions of dollars allocated to immigration, the border, keeping criminals out, getting criminals out too. If that doesn't pass, you'll get a 68% tax increase. And I would say this: any senator that votes against it, and that includes Democrats, I think they'll be finished in politics.
On SALT specifically, do you think Senate Republicans or House Republicans will have to bend more in order to get the bill at large?
I don't know. We're going to see how it works out. It's a very difficult issue, to be honest with you. It's very difficult, and I understand both sides, but we'll just have to see. Hopefully a compromise or something's going to be made, but it's a very difficult issue. But remember that, people say, what do you think? 68% tax, so all those numbers I told you how well the economy is doing, it all gets wiped out. You would have the largest tax increase in history by far, by 3 times, if they don't get the big, beautiful deal. I always say the great, big, beautiful deal. I put the word great in there. They took that out.
It's going to be great, big.
If we get that passed, it'll be the best, one of the greatest pieces. And that's just the beginning of a lot of things that are going to happen.
Yeah.
Because we're going to get numbers down. We're going to get them way down. But that's the beginning. That's our big first step. But that's the most important piece of legislation. In terms of dollar value and everything else, there's nothing as big as that.
Speaking of
they thought that might be 7 or 8 bills. It's all in one.
Speaking of taxes, starting in July 1st, California is upping their tax on gasoline again per gallon. I mean, that's...
Well, I beat the California mandate. Congress just passed a bill ending it. That was terrible. So what they were saying, everybody by 2030 has to have an electric car. People don't want it. I'm all for electric cars, but you have to want one. And right now it's about 7%. But they were forcing everybody to have it. I ended that.
Right.
And now they're coming out with more. No, in California, we've got some gas stations where just 2 weeks ago, it was $1.98, $1.99. We've got the gas down below. Then we have this little situation which will drive it up a little bit, but very little. And it's going to come down again. Going to give people a lot of extra money. Groceries are down. Eggs are down. The eggs. Right? They hit me the first week about eggs. But no, I think that, look, you know what I do whenever I talk about Gavin Newsom? I say, look at the railroad. Look at the railroad. It's not even possible. Do you think he comes out and sees the construction workers? I don't think so.
I don't think he put an American flag in front of the Capitol in Sacramento either.
Mr. President, some of the supporters are split on the U.S. response to
Who are you with?
CNN.
No.
There's a split,
Fake
though.
news. Fortunately, nobody watches.
But my question
Is anybody watching CNN nowadays? I haven't seen it in a long time.
But some of your supporters are wary of the U.S. getting involved in another foreign wall, and some believe that we should support.
Do you ever ask a positive question at CNN? My supporters are more in love with me today, and I'm in love with them more than they were even at election time, where we had a total a landslide. We had, we won all 7 swing states. Did CNN report that? We won all 7 out of 7, which everyone said would be almost impossible. We won by millions of votes. We won 2,750 districts versus 505 districts. Think of that, 2,750 versus 505. And CNN,
I think what she might be alluding to is the base is going to stay with you regardless. And you've gone through different tests, regardless. But some of the people in the base don't want a long-term war. They're afraid that we're going to get into a long-term war.
We're not looking for a long-term war. We're looking, I only want one thing. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Right. That's it. I'm not looking long-term, short-term. And I've been saying that for 20 years. I've been saying it as a civilian who got a lot of publicity. People would cover it. Very simply, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. That's it. It's not a question of anything else. And if you did, you wouldn't have much of a country because they would use it on us and they'd use it on other people and they'd be a terror all over the world. So I may have some people that are a little bit unhappy now, but I have some people that are very happy, and I have people outside of the base that can't believe that this is happening. They're so happy. And there was a poll that just came out today that my approval rating's the highest it's ever been. All I'm doing is saying you can't have a nuclear weapon. And I tried to do it nicely, and then on day 61 I said, let's go, because we can't let that happen. And I've been saying it for 20 years.